right, so again, we are going to go ahead and get started with today's NAU Country Connections webinar, which today we are featuring system training tools and how to locate and find the tools that you need. I am happy to be your host today. I am Skalsky, and I'm a specialist on the IT marketing and training team. All right. And, before I move on actually to the agenda slide and a couple other just kind of pre-announcements that we always do for these webinars, just really wanted to give a special thank you, especially today, to everyone who has joined so many of our NAU Country Connection webinars. And I want to say that just because today is our last topic that we are hosting for the fall edition of NAU Country Connections.
Right. And that would
sorry,
include
everyone.
the wins and
just want to remind everyone to please mute themselves.
The different.
And I'm going to try to mute on my end too.
Yeah.
All right. Again, sorry if you're hearing somebody on the phone. If you are that person on the phone, please go ahead and try to mute yourself. Again, I'm trying to mute everybody on my end too. I apologize for that. Okay, I think this time I got it. Okay, we're gonna keep going. But again, I was just saying that today is our last topic in the fall edition of NAU Country Connection webinars. We are planning to bring the Connection webinars back in the new year, so we are planning a new series. And with that, we would love to hear your suggestions for topics you would like to see in the new year, scheduled as an NAU Country Connections webinar topic. So anything involving maybe spring or sales seasons, anything of that nature. We, of course, want to know what is most important that you want to learn more about. And we just ask that you pass those suggestions on to your marketing representatives, and they will pass them on to us. Okay, let me go ahead and move on here to just a couple of other friendly reminders. And the first one, of course, I've already been saying a couple of times here today. Please do keep yourselves on mute during the duration of today's training topic. That's just great, obviously, so that we don't hear phone conversations or, people working from home, barking dogs, etc. In this day and age of working from home, all of that happens so often, right? So again, if you haven't already checked to make sure you're muted, please do that now, especially if you just to join us. Okay, next on our little reminder list, we do always recommend that you contact your marketing representative with any further questions you might have after today's session. But during today's session, if you do have questions, you can certainly chat those questions into us using the chat feature found in the WebEx panel area. I will try my best to keep my eye on the chat. So if I see questions come up, you might hear me pause and address those as they come in, although I might save some to the end of the training session where there will also be time for Q&A. All right, next announcement. We will be recording today's session. Actually, I'm already recording the session, and we will be sending the recording out along with training materials in a recap email that will hopefully get out to you sometime today or tomorrow. All right, on to the next slide, which is our agenda slide. So of course, today we're focusing on system training tools and how and where you can locate them. And to show you and explain all of this, we're going to really be diving into kind of two areas. First and foremost, the agent portal, which of course is chock full of resources and tools. And so we're going to dive into the agent portal first and really focus on some of the options found in the training drop-down menu. When you log into the agent portal, there are several drop-down menus in the homepage of the agent portal. I'm going to be showing you this, of course, but there's a training drop-down. Lots of menu options there for you to choose from. We're going to focus you down on a handful of them, but we'll go over all of them high level. We're also going to be going over options found in the resources drop-down menu. Inside the resources drop-down menu, not only, of course, are there, many resources, but there are a couple of sales tools as well that we want to highlight for you. While they're not maybe specific training tools, they're certainly in the learning realm. So we want to spotlight a few of those for you. And then we are going to just give a couple of tips and tricks about how easy it is to use the search option that you can find in the agent portal as well. After that, we are going to transition to talking about some resources that are found right on NAU Country's website. So on the website, there is an agent area, and inside of the agent area, there is places where you can go to find dedicated services information, agent tools, resources, and yes, on NAU Country's website, there is also a search option, which is, I think, at times overlooked and very helpful. So we'll go over some of those tools and tricks and tips on the website. After that, we're going to go into a series of that I'm calling How Do I? And that's just where we're going to go over some of the common how do I learn XYZ type questions and give you answers to the best go-to resources to hopefully find common answers around these questions. Last but not least, of course, though, we'll touch on who you can go ahead and reach out to for further assistance when maybe you have checked out some of our training tools and resources and maybe you haven't found what you're looking for, what you need to learn, or answers to your questions. Now, of course, as always, we want to arm you and set you up for success. And by knowing where the most likely places are to go and find, again, training resources and answers that you need, it will certainly help you speed up the time between, again, you having a question or needing to learn something to you having then learned it or have that answer. And of course, today's webinar goal, well, there's many, but one of them is going to be reminding you of all the many resources and tools that we have out there. But we have a lot of them out there. And so another goal is to help focus down on the most commonly used resources, or maybe some that are oftentimes overlooked, or maybe some that we realize sometimes people don't even realize we have out there for you. And we really want to kind of focus you down to what I like to call, and I'll be referring to as our go-to tools. Some of our most, commonly oftentimes used with success go-to training tools. So we're going to be really focusing down on that. But yes, of course, if you can't find what you're looking for, there's always people that you can reach out to for further assistance. But again, we want to arm you with the knowledge to be confident, to know where you can go to maybe seek out those questions on your own, especially in the event that you have a question or need to learn something new over a weekend or at off or odd times. And again, we're really hoping that will be accomplished in today's webinar. Okay, without any further ado, let me move us on here to the first topic on the agenda, and that's going to be exploring the agent portal training tools. Now, we always like to remind everybody how, of course, you get to, well, the agent portal in this case. So right here on this slide, you can see the first bullet point says access the agent portal at, and I've got the direct URL just listed there for you. Now, while I do have lots of slides that have all the information we're going to be talking about along with screenshots, and yes, in some cases, direct URLs or links out to these resources, to these tools, I'm not going to be spending all my time in PowerPoint today. Nope, I'm going to be diving into the agent portal onto our website, showing you these things live and in action. But these slides are going to be made available to you after the session. Again, we're going to be sending out an email recap, and one of the resources that we're going to link to is a copy of these PowerPoint slides. So again, in the slides, on this one in particular, I have a URL. So if you do download a copy of these slides later, you can just click right on the URL that you find in this slide or other slides that I have in here today. So again, how you access the agent portal, we've got the direct URL right on the slide, or as always, of course, you can go to naukountry.com and you can click right on the agent portal login button. All right. Now, inside of the agent portal, which I'm going to dive into here in just a moment, there are a lot of resources. There's a lot of things you can do in the agent portal, but yes, we are going to focus our attention on a couple of areas. First of all, this training drop-down menu, of course, as it's titled, is just chock full of training resources. Now we're going to focus down on, again, on a couple of what I like to call these go-to training resources, but I don't want to ignore all the other great resources that are in the training drop-down as well. And again, if you have just joined, just want to remind everyone to please put themselves on mute. Just heard a little bit of background noise. Thanks so much. Perfect. Okay, so in the training drop-down menu, lots of options. I have definitions sort of summarizing, explaining all of these options. I'm not going to read all of these word for word because, again, you're going to be able to access copies of these slides and have your own copy later. But I am going to try my best to high level hit some of these, and then we're going to dive deep into a handful of them. All right, so in the training drop-down menu, indeed, all training resources. The first one, if you choose to click on that registration option, that's going to take you out to see active training opportunities that are currently scheduled by our agency services team. Below that, you have the exams option. If you select this option, it will allow you to see a list of links for available agent or agency exams. Below that, you see exam certificates. If you click this, it will let you see certificates you have specifically earned. The next option down is livestock training. By selecting this option at any time, you're going to be taken to a page where you can get information about contacting our livestock training team. That is, if you ever need to schedule training sessions, take an exam, submit any sort of livestock questions. Below that, you see IT product training. So this menu option is going to let you see any of our scheduled NAU Country webinars, like our connection webinars, or, for example, like our aftermath webinars that are hosted by Rich Morrison. All right, I'm going to move us on to the next slide here. We're just going to keep going over these options. So the next option in the dropdown is recent IT training. This is one of the go-to items that we're going to dive into and I'm going to show you, but this is where you can get information on NAU Country's IT product updates, on any new releases that we've released into our systems. Next option, IT training and resources. This option is kind of an all-in-one place where you can see an overview of the training resources that we do have available, kind of like a nice little summary. Next, below that, you see Help Library. This is another one of our go-to items we're going to dive into, but this is essentially where you can find all of our help documentation. Below that, you see where you can click to our tips and tricks. Yes, this is another go-to option that we're going to take a peek at, but this is where you can get our helpful online articles about using and working in NAU Country systems. Below that, you've got the videos option. This is another go-to training option that we'll highlight. This is where you can easily click and go out to NAU Country's training YouTube page where all of our training videos are stored. Below that, you've got the Request IT Training option. At any time you can click this option, it's going to bring you to a request training form that you can fill out and submit in the event that there is something new that you want to learn about, you're not finding that information, and you just want to make a request. It's very easy to do that using this form. And then last but not least on this list, you've got the accuracy information. You click this option, it'll just take you out to our accuracy page. All right, but what I want to do is focus us down. Again, I want to arm you with some of our go-to training resources and get familiar with those, that is, if you're not already. So that's going to bring us down to focus on the items that are highlighted here on this slide. So in the training drop-down menu, I'm going to log into the agent portal actually right now, and we're going to take a peek at the recent IT releases area, the help library, tips and tricks, and videos. All right, so let me just get out of my PowerPoint presentation. And let me just make sure I am sharing the right screen here. Yep, I should just be on the website. Perfect. All right, so I'm just going to log into the agent portal, and I'm going to do that just by clicking on the agent portal login button. And of course, this is just naucountry.com. And I'm going to click that button. It's going to bring me to the login page. I'm just going to click sign in. And that's going to bring us into our agent portal. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and focus our attention here on the training drop-down menu. First go-to area that I like to point out, mainly because I don't know if everyone knows that this is available and out there for you, and I'm going to click on recent IT releases. Now, obviously, we do release new features and functionality on a very consistent and ongoing basis. And so when we update Easy Writer Pro, NAU Country Mobile, the agent portal, and all of our other systems and features, we always put a summary out there that you can go view anytime that you would like. Now, this could be something that maybe you do check out regularly, which is great, but in the event that maybe you're in one of our systems and you realize that something looks different, there's something new, something's changed, it's very possible that that area, that feature recently got a change, got some functionality released to it. And if you're wondering, I'd like to learn more about that, this is your go-to place for that information. Now, not only do we have overall summaries of every dated major release that we've had in the last year. So if I keep scrolling down, this will go back a full year. But obviously you can click for more information. So if I just click here on November 12th, which was our most recent release, this will bring me into a page with more specific details on those features and functions that were released or changed. Now, in some cases, when we list out the information, we'll link to any documentation that may have been updated or created for that new feature or function. We might link out to one of our tips and tricks, which we're going to be talking more about today, or it might be that we just have steps or more information right here in the page for you. So lots of good information is out here. And again, you can find it by going to the training drop-down menu and clicking on recent IT releases. All right, the next go-to item I want to point out in the drop-down here is the help library. I'm going to select that item. And this is where you can go to find all of our documentation. And now, of course, I know when I think documentation, I think user guides. And yes, of course, they're out here as well, but there's tons of other documents we also have out here and maintain out here for you. Now, because there are so many out here, you might be wondering, how do I find exactly what I'm looking for? Okay. So first of all, let me use this drop-down option, which allows you to filter. This will let you filter by document type. This will also let you see all the different types of documents you may find out here. Anything from checklists to facts, sheets, handouts. But if I scroll all the way down, indeed, you can find training documents, user guides, and webinar PowerPoints. So if you know that you want to specifically look for, let's say, a user guide, you can select that option. The list is going to go ahead and be sorted automatically, but you can add on to your filtering here as well. So let's say that you know that you want information about, let's say, Easy Quote, and you're looking for a user guide. Well, if you go under All Systems, you can come here and that's one of the options. I can select that. Just like that, I've now narrowed down my search by quite a bit, and now I can very easily see Easy Quote User Guide right here for me. Now, you also have the ability to filter down according to crop cycle and plans. Now, you also can just search for a document. So if I, at any point, I'm just going to clear my two sort results already, clear that out. And now here, I can go ahead and again, maybe you don't know the document name exactly what you're looking for, but if you know you're looking for information on, let's say, Easy Quote, I can type that in here, hit apply, and it's going to narrow down my search. So that is how you can easily find documentation. And everybody learns differently, and we realize that some people really like to have written documentation. So this could be your go-to if that's how you like to learn. And this might just be a place that you perhaps want to bookmark, and you can go back to quickly and easily at any time, looking for that documentation that you either just want to download a copy of. And by the way, that's what you can do here. I can grab, I'll just go ahead and click on this guide here. It's going to go ahead and pull up a preview for you right from here. If you want to go ahead and download or print, you can do that right from here then. Okay, I am going to go ahead and show you our next go-to item for training tools, and that is our tips and tricks area. So I'm just going to select that. Now, our tips and tricks is basically where you can find online articles or online, documents, if you will, on how to learn or use NAU Country systems. So we're talking Easy Writer Pro, NAU Country Mobile, the agent portal itself, the farmer portal, all of our systems and kind of everything in between. Now, we have a lot of tips and tricks out there, and I'm sure many of you have been out here, and you might come down here and start scrolling and realize, wow, there's a lot of them out here. How do I find what I'm looking for? There is 10 plus pages of tips and tricks that we maintain out here. Now, if I just scroll back up to the top, trying not to make anybody dizzy by scrolling too fast. Now, you might be wondering, so how do things get organized on this page? Well, when you come to tips and tricks in general, the most newly published tips and tricks will always be at the top. So those are going to be kind of hot off the presses, maybe new information on new features or options or functions. But not only can you, of course, come here at any point and use this search option up here to search for things not only in tips and tricks, but all over the agent portal. By the way, we're going to talk about the search option more in just a little bit. I've got some tips for you on successfully, or I should say efficiently using it. But what you can do right here in tips and tricks, you've got this categories drop-down menu where we have organized the tips and tricks into these different categories, either according to topics or, of course, according to systems or according to plan types. And they're very easy to navigate to. And take a look at this drop down if you haven't already gotten familiar with it, because you might be looking here going, oh my gosh, I oftentimes like to, or just last week, I was hoping to find a field insights resource. Hey, we've got a whole category on that. Select that. It's going to narrow down the tips and tricks specifically, and maybe hopefully find what you're looking for. Maybe you were hoping to learn a little bit more about Field Insights Harvest Advisor. Well, hey, we have a tips and tricks on that right here. Or the Spray Advisor, we have one right there. All right, another thing I want to point out here in the categories drop-down menu is way at the bottom, and this is very much so overlooked, and that's why we really want to get this out here today, is this category, the Training Suite category. I'm going to select that and just, of course, show you what pops up here. Now, these training suites are not just a single article or a single tips and tricks. They're a combination of all the resources surrounding one particular topic or one particular system or feature. Okay? So for example, the top one on the list here, Agent Portal Training Suite. This is one of our most recently published training suites. When we rolled out the new Agent Portal, that's when we rolled out this training suite. Now, I'm going to click into it just to kind of show you the combination of resources you might find inside of these training suites. So not only is it going to link to indeed other tips and tricks, but it might also link out to, for example, you can see right here, first resource, Agent Portal User Guide. So again, these training suites are going to be a combination of all of our best resources in one centralized location for you around a certain topic. So again, the Agent Portal, yes, we have a user guide right here. You can click and download that user guide. Next item on the list here is a link to click to a recorded webinar that we did on the new Agent Portal. Now, as we kind of scroll down, you'll see more specific information. For example, we've got some information on preferences and notifications, because that's a big area inside of the Agent Portal. So here I could click, and this would actually take me out to a tips and tricks specifically on setting up dairy price alerts. If we continue to scroll down, you'll see other sections. So information on loss information, NOL submissions, claims tracking, and then other tips as well. Now, every training suite is organized slightly differently, but again, you're always going to get that nice centralized location of all the resources that involve that same topic. Now, it's not uncommon at the bottom of our training suites, as well as our individual tips and tricks, to have additional resources linked at the bottom. So always, when you're taking a look at one of our tips and tricks or in a training suite, scroll to the bottom, check out those additional resources. There might be some really good finds there for you. Could be to videos, could be to related resources of topics that are closely related to what you're looking at. So definitely check that out when you have time. All right, I'm going to just go back here one step, and we're going to take a look at a couple other training suites that oftentimes we get questions kind of in and around, and we just want to make you aware that we already have information organized and available for you. So for example, I'm going to scroll down and just point out that we have 2 training suites on acreage reporting. You can see right here, this one is a general acreage reporting training suite, which is just chock full of great information. But I want to specifically point out this one, acreage reporting systems offered by NAU Country. Around the acreage reporting time, of course, we get lots of questions about how do I learn more about doing acreage reporting in XYZ system? Absolutely great question. Well, we have a whole training suite here that's devoted to showing you and explaining that to you. And right here you can see, for example, well, hey, the first resource here is actually a link to a webinar where we go over acreage reporting in the systems. You can keep scrolling down here. Maybe you're interested in learning about acreage reporting through Quick FTF, or maybe acreage reporting on the go. This is all about acreage reporting using NAU Country Mobile. Again, these training suites are just chock full of resources. So we definitely just want to draw your attention to them, make you know that they are here for you. All right, just a couple other training suites that just want to point out here. Let me go here to the second page of our training suites. We do have a spring and fall sales closing training suite. Not uncommon to get those sales closing questions, so we've got resources wrapped around that for you. Also, production reporting. Of course, we've got a training suite for that as well. So again, when you have time, come on out, check out our training suites, just chock full of great resources for you. All right, so that's what I really wanted to share about the tips and tricks area. The next go-to training resource, where would we be without training videos, right? Well, I'm going to go ahead and click right on the videos option here, which is going to automatically take you out to NAU Country's YouTube channel, where you can find all of our training recordings. Now, we do have a lot of them out here. So again, if you're somebody that loves to learn through watching webinar recordings or training videos, this might be your go-to. But how do you find exactly what you need to learn? All right, so let me give you a couple of tips. First of all, if you scroll down here, you're going to see different categories. First of all, you'll see an uploads category. This is going to just show you our most recently uploaded videos and recordings. So for example, you can see this one was uploaded 6 days ago. Next one down was 2 weeks ago. Below that, you see a category that's just NAU Country webinars. Yes, indeed, we do have a lot. We host a lot of webinars. We record a lot of them. They're going to be posted here. But really what I want to point out down here to kind of really get, kind of a go-to word, the most bang for your buck, let's say, we have got these playlists that have been created where they basically categorize and group together recordings, again, around a similar topic or platform or maybe a series. So if we come down here, you see the first playlist here is NAU Country Connection webinars. So today's webinar is being recorded. It's going to be posted out here on this playlist later on. And you can always watch any of these past recordings of our NAU Country Connection webinars. You can see here that there's 20 of them. You can either click to start playing the first one and also have access to the rest of the playlist, or below here, you can click this View Full Playlist option. And it's going to take you to where indeed you can see the whole list. You can see all the topics. You can click and play the ones, of course, that you're interested in checking out. So definitely take a look at our playlist. We've got one here, as you can see, wrapped around our Aftermath webinar series that Rich Morrison records, Field Insights, NAU Country Mobile, and we even have more here if you keep scrolling. I also want to explain just a couple of tips wrapped around just doing a search around our videos. All right, couple of search options that you can actually see here on the screen. Just want to point out this search option right here. So this magnifying glass icon, this is how you can click and then search inside of just NAU Country's videos themselves. So again, if I'm looking for an NAU Country video on, I know I keep using Easy Quote, but why not? I just go ahead and hit my enter key, automatically pairs down just the NAU Country videos. So right here I can see Easy Quote, create a basic quote. Awesome. But here we also have a playlist that's below that. So really helps you really focus in on what you need to learn quickly. Now, at the top of the screen, yes, indeed, there is also another search option. Now, I am guilty of using this search option and then getting confused myself, not going to lie. When you use the search item here, the big search item at the top, it actually searches all of YouTube. So you might get a lot of search results for Easy Quote that don't actually have anything to do with NAU Country. So again, just want to focus your attention down here to this icon here, this search option. All right, so that is the training videos area. Let me just kind of click back here now to the agent portal, and I'll just click back to the home page just for fun. All right, so the next area that we want to dive into is some of the options found here in the resources drop-down menu. Now, I'm going to quickly go back to my PowerPoint presentation, but just to give you a very quick summary, but then we are going to drill down into some of the resources more specifically. So let me just move us on here down to the next slide. Again, really just want to show you that I do have a summary of all the resources options that you find in the agent portal. There are many, they're great. We're going to focus down on a good handful of them today. All right, and the first one in the dropdown is forms. And when you click the forms option, it's going to take you out to our forms library. We're actually going to take a look as one of our go-to items here in just a moment. The next option down says Message Center. So this will allow you to click and view our full Message Center, where you can search for past messages that were sent and posted, as well as filter those messages. We're going to talk a little bit more about the Message Center later on. Next on down, you've got commodity markets. We're also going to talk and explore this one a bit later on as well in our How Do I area of the webinar. But the commodity markets option is where you can go to access and sign up for all of our NAU Country commodity markets options. Below that, actually the two items below that are a couple of worksheets that you can actually download. We're going to explore these real quickly as well in this segment of the webinar. But the first one is the SEO ECO indemnity worksheet. This will allow you to download a worksheet that will allow you to estimate potential losses with SEO and ECO. The next item down is revenue loss trigger yield worksheet. When you download this option, again, it's a worksheet. It allows you to key in base price and harvest price values, or use parameters for a specific scenario to calculate the respective trigger yields. So these are a couple of worksheets that are a little bit more sales-like tools, but nevertheless, great learning tools as well. So we're going to take a peek at those in a moment. But we still have other great resources here that you can explore in the resources dropdown, including the, at the top of the list here, the E&O insurance option. That will allow you just to very easily go out to the errors and omission program enrollment site. Next item down is the Hail and Private Products Manuals option. We're going to explore this one, but it's where you can go ahead and find our crop hail manuals, as well as our NAU Country Private Products Manuals. Below that, you can always click to the RMA Bulletins option. That will take you right out to the Risk Management Agency's website, where you can view their bulletins and additional information. Next on down, you got the RMA Actuarials option. That will also, when clicked, take you out to RMA's website, but specifically to the Actuarial Information Browser's landing page, where you can look up actuarial information. Below that, you've got eVantage, where you can easily click and go out to our Agent eVantage login page. And last but not least is the Report Center option. This is one we're also going to spotlight today, just because you may or may not even realize this, but indeed you can now pull your Report Center reports here in the Agent portal. Now, yes, of course, you can still log into EasyWriter Pro and do that as well there, like you've always been able to, but now it's also available in the Agent portal. So what we're going to focus down onto is going to be the items I've highlighted here in this screenshot. The first one is going to be exploring the forms library. So let me go ahead and just go into the Agent portal again. And again, I'm going to go to the resources drop-down menu and choose the first item, forms. All right, in the forms library, you can indeed find all of our great forms. But because there are so many out here, you might be wondering, how do I find the one that I really need? So again, we've got some filtering options for you. You can certainly filter the forms by category. You also can filter the forms by policies and plans. Or yes, indeed, you can search for a form as well. You don't need to know the full form name. You can just type in a partial name or some keywords maybe. That's going to go ahead and narrow down your search. Just like I showed you in the help library, these are all PDFs. You can always click. It's going to show you first a preview here. And then from here, you can go ahead and choose to download and or print any of the forms you find out in the library. All right, so that's the forms library. Next on down, gonna go ahead and, let me go to the resources dropdown. And we're gonna go ahead and explore both the SEO ECO indemnity worksheet and then the revenue loss trigger yield worksheet. Really just want to tell you that they're out here and available to you. Again, people might not realize that, so we want to spotlight it. So the SEO ECO indemnity worksheet, this is a valuable tool for helping you to estimate potential SEO ECO SEO ECO indemnities, and just through downloading, it's going to download a worksheet for you. So when you click this option, you might think nothing's happening. Well, depending on the browser you're in, it's going to go ahead and download that worksheet for you in, maybe a different way depending on the browser you're using. I'm in Chrome, so automatically that worksheet downloaded for me in the bottom left-hand corner of my screen. So I'm just going to click and pull that up. And of course, once you pull this up, you can go ahead and you can start plugging in information into the different areas of the worksheet. But this worksheet also has a lot of tabs at the bottom. So if I click over to the next tab, which is manual, you'll see it's basically a blank worksheet. So this is great for if you want to print this out, maybe have it on hand, give it to someone, give it to a farmer, an insured, fill this out just by hand. You could certainly do that as well. And then there's also tabs for corn, soybeans, cotton, spring wheat. These are going to go ahead and show you the MPCI base and harvest prices for those crops. And then you also have an expected yields list. So just a great tool, awesome resource. Lots of information can be learned and pulled from this worksheet. Next on down in the resources dropdown is another worksheet, which is the revenue loss trigger yield worksheet. Again, when you click it, automatically it's going to download for me. Again, it's in the bottom left-hand corner. I'm going to click and pull that up. Now this particular worksheet, I always just like to point out you have to enable the content, but then you'll be able to start plugging information in. And also there are instructions right on how to use the worksheet as well for this one. So definitely check that out when you have time. Next in the resources drop-down menu, another go-to resource. Hail and private product manuals. Again, we get questions about this, where can I find a manual or a brochure about XYZ product? Well, if it's hail or if it's one of our private products, this is a go-to place. And you can see we have them organized in two categories, crop hail and yes, private product. Underneath each column, they are going to go ahead and be organized alphabetically. So if you kind of know what you're looking for, just alphabetically scroll on down. Again, you can preview and then download and/or print these. All right, last but not least, in the resources drop-down menu, just want to show you the report center option. So again, if you're in the agent portal and you're like thinking, I want to go ahead and run a quick report, you don't actually have to log into EasyWriter Pro and switch gears. You can just stay here in the agent portal now. So here to find a report, you can certainly switch up the year if you would like to or need to do that. And then the correlating reports are going to be here in the report list. You can select a report. You do have to plug in oftentimes some report parameters, just like you would in EasyWriter Pro. Click generate and that report's going to pull up for you. So just wanted to spotlight that as well as a handy resource. All right, so I'm just going to go back to the home page now, and we're actually going to switch gears and we're going to focus on resources. Actually, I have one more thing to share in here, but then we're going to switch gears. Then we're going to go and do some resources or show you some resources out on our website. But before I do that, got to talk about this search option. So yes, we have a search option here in the agent portal as well as on NAU Country's website. And when you use the search option, I want to give you a couple of little tips and tricks about it, some details that you might not really be aware of when you do a search. So now I'm going to go ahead and click this option. Now I know when you click this, and if you've done a search before, you might have thought this, why does it appear that I've been taken out of the agent portal? Well, truth be told, you're still logged into the agent portal, but it does take you to a more general search screen because when you do a search, it's actually going to search the resources not only in the agent portal, but as well as the resources out on NAU Country's website. So again, it does kind of take you to a more general search screen. It is actually looking like a page on our website, but nevertheless, it's going to allow you to search basically all the resources. So let's say I'm coming out here and I want some more information about quality loss. That is, of course, a new option that's been recently released. And I type it in and I can see, some search results kind of coming up here, but really I'm going to click the search button to make it official. And I'm going to get a list of search results. Now, bear in mind again that these resources might be inside the agent portal or they might just be on NAU Country's website. Now, the good news is that you don't have to worry about, do I search in the portal or do I search on the website? I don't know where something's posted. Again, you don't have to worry about that because we're going to do a search for you in both locations. Now, when you do get your list of resources that pull up, depending on where it is posted, and depending on if you're already logged into the agent portal or not, you may or may not be able to click on all the options. Now I'm going to explain a little bit more about that in a second. Bear with me. But what you should be able to do, and especially since I did do my search from the agent portal, I'm already logged in, any item that's listed here, any search result, I should be able to click and be taken out to that additional information. Now, the first option, or item I should say, says quality loss option. It gives you a nice summary of basically what this is. Now, below each one of the search results is going to be a URL. Now, you don't really have to worry so much about these URLs, except for the fact that it does give you a little clue as to where this resource is stored. Now, if I look here in the URL, I can see in there it says tips and tricks. So that lets me know that this is a tips and tricks. And of course, tips and tricks are stored in the agent portal. Okay, good to know. Again, you don't have to worry about it so much, but at least it's a nice reminder to know, oh, that's where this is actually stored. That's where I could possibly locate it again later if I wanted to. Next resource down here for quality loss, we have an optimizer. And not a lot of information actually listed here, no description. But if you take a look at the URL here, you can see in the URL, it says help library. So, hey, this is posted in the help library. You know what it is? It's going to be a document. And even if you keep scrolling down here, we've got some news information about quality loss. Again, a nice little summary. But if you take a look at the URL, it actually in here says news details. And we post news pieces and information on our website. So this is just information that's out on our site. Now, again, a couple of tips and tricks about if you are able to click and access all the results. So I have a couple of slides that I'm just going to go back to my PowerPoint on. And let me just get here. So again, I have general slides about the search just to remind you. Indeed, I have a little example here with screenshots, but what I want to get to is this slide, search option tips. So again, I have a nice reminder in here that when you do a search, it's going to go ahead and search resources in the agent portal and on NAU Country's website. Now, the next bullet point, though, is the one I just want to explain a little bit more. So if you cannot click on one of the listed search results, that indicates that it is stored within the agent portal. To be able to access them, you just need to simply log into the agent portal and you'll be able to go ahead and do that. So again, depending on where you choose to do your search, because again, this search option is also out on NAU Country's website. If you go to our website, you need to find some more information about something, you do a search out there, you get a nice search results list, but then you go to click one of the results and you can't actually click or go anywhere from it. Again, you heard it here. It's because it's stored in the agent portal, and all you need to do is log into the agent portal. You'll be able to then access that resource, download it, whatever it is, and have that resource at your fingertips. So just a little tip about using the wonderful search option. All right, next up, we are going to go and explore a couple of resources out on the website. So that's going to bring us to NAU Country website. Of course, I've got the URL there, www.naukountry.com. But what we're going to focus on the website, right on the homepage, there is an agents option, another drop-down menu. And inside of the menu is going to be 3 areas we're going to explore: dedicated services, agent tools, and resources. So under dedicated services, we're going to take a peek out there. But what you're basically going to be able to do out there is keep up to date on current commission factors, training opportunities, loss guidelines, and our compliance review process and additional information about that. Under agent tools, you're going to be able to see kind of a summary of our sales tools, some processing efficiencies information, business management tools, as well as some information on our competitive advantage, and also information on our commodity market commentary tools. Last but not least, we've got a resources area out on our website, and that's where you can go ahead and find commodity pricing, provisions information, and crop resources. So let's go ahead and just go to the website and explore these areas. So let me just go now to the homepage of our website. Again, I'm just on naukountry.com. And I'm going to click the agent drop-down menu here and go into dedicated services. All right, so again here, this is where you can find commission factors, training opportunities information, loss guidelines, and compliance review information. I'm just going to click into a couple of these. Definitely worth exploring if you didn't already realize we had this out here. Not uncommon for us to get questions about, let's say, commission factors. So I'm just going to click here to show you what we got out here. This is where you can go ahead and see A&O factor updates for 2020 as well as 2019. If I click back here, let's take a look at loss guidelines. All right, this is where you can go ahead and check out resources regarding loss guidelines. We've got lots of great PDFs out here for you. You can just click, preview, and download those directly or print them as well. And I will just click really quickly into the compliance review information that we have out there for you. So here you can see that we've got the RMA required review types information here that you can click to get more information on, APH reviews information, and then a little bit of fraud, waste, and abuse information as well. So always out there available to you. It's just on the webpage, so you don't even have to log in to the agent portal. It's just available for you. Next on down is the agent tools. And these agent tools areas are just great summaries of some of our sales tools we want to just make readily available, some information on our processing efficiencies, some additional tools on business management. We also have an area called competitive advantage. I'm going to click into this one. It just goes ahead and gives you some information about NAU Country's competitive advantages, features, and functions, and just some great information out there. Nice summary. I'll click back. And then, of course, we do have the commodity market commentary information, which you can always click to get for more information. And of course, yes, Rich Morrison does organize these for us, does a wonderful job of it. And these are the resources and a little bit more information available out there about the great commodity market commentary resources. All right, next on down in the agents option on our website, we've got a resources area. This is where you indeed can find commodity pricing. This is one place where you can click to find this information. We also have information on where you can click to get provisions information and then crop resources as well. I'm just going to quickly click to the commodity pricing area. Now, not only here can you get revenue pricing information, you can also get DRP, Dairy Revenue Protection Pricing information. We've got grain futures information and links out to other exchanges and trades. But I do just want to focus our attention here on the revenue prices area. Now, you can either click on this area of the page or the button itself to be taken to where you can actually drill down to get specific state information. And you can either do that by using the state filtering drop-down option, or you can just click on the state itself in the map here, and that's going to go ahead and narrow things down. You can shift to different years, you can filter by crop, and then you can go ahead and find that information down here and get more details. So I just want to point out how easy it is to use that option, drill down, filter a bit. And I'm just going to take us back here to that screen. Actually, I'm just going to go back to the resources screen and just show you the provisions area here. This screen does a nice job of explaining that basically what you do here is you key in your policy number or your insured's policy number to view the associated provisions. So this is kind of a working screen. It's like a form. You can fill in the information. And then again, we've got crop resources here as well. So you've got some 1099 FAQs. Again, you can click to E&O insurance information, and then we've got a whole list of federal crop resources as well out here for you. All right, so that's really what I wanted to spotlight on our website. Again, there is tons of information on our website, lots of tools, lots of tips. Don't forget, again, you've got that search option. Again, it's going to work the same whether you do a search from the website or if you're doing a search inside of the agent portal, it's going to go ahead and do a general search of both areas for all the resources out there. All right. Another thing though, in terms of a search tip that I also want to explain quick is the ability for you to search a specific term. And I do have slides on this in my PowerPoint presentation. So if you're not, if you can't write this all down, don't worry about it. It's in the slides that you'll get a copy of. I'm going to type in here, self-help. And when you do this, and I'm going to click the search button, make it official, the two top items here allows you to get further information on easy mapping and precision farming. So this is also something that a lot of people are not aware that we have out there, but we have self-help pages with additional learning and training resources for easy mapping and precision farming. Now you might be wondering, why are they kind of stored out here in a different way? Why do I have to search for them? Okay, so let me explain. If you were to log in to EasyWriter Pro or the Agent Portal, and access or be working in easy mapping or inside of precision farming, there are these resources available right inside of these resources themselves, or right inside of these tools. So if you're working in easy mapping, there's going to be a help option that you can click that will take you directly out to these self-help sites. So since basically these resources are stored within the actual tools that they actually are about, we also did want to make them available more readily as well. So in the event that you just want more information about using easy mapping or precision farming, and you're not physically logged into those areas of the platforms, you can still access them. Or if your farmer needs more information, these are great locations to send them to. Let me go ahead and click and show you. First of all, the easy mapping self-help area. Pretty straightforward. You can click here to view our documents on easy mapping, as well as we've got a series of videos out there as well. I'll just show you the documents alone. There's many of them. They're short and sweet and quick, and they really just let you click and download and learn about specific areas of easy mapping. So I wanted to point that out. Let me just go back to my search here, and I'll click on precision farming. And again, if you are interested in more information about precision farming, you have an insured that's interested in more information, this is a great place to send them, or specifically here under the Getting Started. And it's just out there and available, has a lot of information. And again, we kind of just wanted to spotlight these because they're out there, they're available, but not everybody knows about them. And yes, I'm going to go back to my Power presentation real quick and just show you that, yes, I have information in here. Of course, yes, about the search option, but indeed, specifically about using the search term self-help and then finding the precision farming, or I should say easy mapping self-help page. And I have the direct URL in here as well, so that you can just have that, bookmark it if you want. And again, I have one here for precision farming as well. Again, we're going to send out a copy of these PowerPoint presentation slides so you can access these on your own and be reminded of this later. All right. That is going to bring us into the next portion of the webinar, which is a quicker portion, which is going to be a couple of how do I's. So again, it's not uncommon, well, of course, it's extremely common for us to get questions on how do I learn about this, or where do I go to find more information about that. So we thought we'd kind of have a kind of FAQ portion, if you will, for training tools. So first of all, very common that we get questions in and around something like this. How do I learn how to do something in NAU Country systems? Whether that's EasyWriter Pro, NAU Country Mobile, Agent Portal, even Farmer Portal. What we would recommend, a go-to resource would be to check out our tips and tricks or search the help library. And I just have a nice screenshot here reminding you where you find those inside of the Agent Portal. The next how do I is how do I find a specific form? Don't forget that we've got the forms library out there for you inside the Agent Portal. And I have another little tip for you. This third bullet point here says, when you search within the forms library, it will search the forms library, the help library, and NAU Country's website. So that is definitely not a tip that a lot of people are aware of. So you may go to the forms library, search for a form, But then you might actually see information pop up like a document from our help library about the same thing, but obviously it's going to be a user guide perhaps, or it might be information or a brochure on NAU Country's website. So it might be a form that you need, but then you might find additional information that you find helpful out there as well, all by doing a search in the forms library. All right, next up, how do I find more details on recent releases? Absolutely, don't forget you can go to the recent IT releases area within the agent portal. Next up, how do I find information on advertising, supply ordering, map books, or wall map orders? We got you covered again in the agent portal. If you go to the advertising drop-down menu, you can find information about all of that. The next how do I is how do I find information on NAU Country messages or announcements? So yes, we do have a lot of important messages and announcements that we send out. And you might read them, maybe organize them into folders or files, but of course there's so many. So there might come a time that you remember an announcement, you remember an email that was sent out, but you need to review it. There's more details that you want to dive back into. How do you find it? What's the best way to do that? What we would recommend is you actually log into the agent portal. And yes, in the main home page area of the agent portal, the message center takes up a large portion of it, which is going to show you some of the most recent messages sent. But there is this that you can click View All. It's going to take you out to what I like to call the full message center view. Not only will you be able to filter the messages out there, but there is a search option. So for you, if you can just remember a couple of keywords about what that message was about that you're looking for, type that in, hit search, and you'll probably very quickly and easily find the message that you're looking for. And then right there in the agent portal, you can review all the details of that message. All right, just a couple more of these and then we'll wrap things up. Next, how do I view commodity pricing? Now, we looked at this already today. On the website, there's actually several places where you can click to get to commodity pricing, but the easiest option I find is if you go to naucountry.com and right on the homepage, select the commodity pricing button. You might have to scroll down a little bit to find it. I have it highlighted in my screenshot. You click that, and it's going to take you right out to our commodity pricing area. All right, last, how do I find or sign up for Rich Morrison's commodity market resources? Now, the commodity market resources, that includes our opening bell, that includes our market report, that includes, so many resources. So if you got any of those on your mind, the best way to really get all the information about it is to log into the agent portal and in the resources dropdown, click the commodity markets option. When you do that, it's going to take you to this page where you can see all of the resources, additional information, and this is also where you then can drill in. And if there is a sign-up process or a registration process for the resources, all that's going to be right here for you. All right, well, that was my last how do I. And I'm looking at the time. All right, we are down to the last minute, but I do want to go ahead and go over this slide, but also if you have questions, now would be the time to chat them in. I will check the chat log just to make sure I haven't missed any questions along the way. Now, of course, for further assistance, as always, we do have people that you can reach out to. Don't forget to reach out to your marketing representative with questions. If you have underwriting related questions, reach out to your underwriters. But with technical issues, you can always reach out to call center. I have the phone number and the email address out there for you now. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and check the chat. All right. And hopefully I had sorry, I missed this earlier. I had a couple of people that were having a hard time hearing me. I hope that everyone was able to hear my audio okay. I don't see any other questions though in the chat panel. So again, now is the time. If you have a question, chat them in. I'll be looking at the chat panel for a bit longer. But obviously, if you don't have questions, I want to thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate all of you for joining any of our NAU Country Connection webinars. We're going to bring this back in the new year. But again, thank you for your time today and have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye for now.